Welcome to Inside Gaming. I'm Brian. It's the weekend roundup time. Ben, have you been quarantined?
Yep.
Are you wearing pants?
Nope.
Me either. All right, guys, it's been a tough week. Let's talk about fun stuff, video game leaks. I'm tired of talking about the coronavirus. I want to talk about leaks. So we had a new one pop up about the next Spider-Man game. Let's dive in. Now, this comes from the Gaming Leaks and Rumors subreddit via user Utopian Throwaway 90. I wonder if that's their main. Probably not. Fair warning, if this stuff is true, there might be some spoilers, so if you don't want that, just skip ahead a little bit. Also, who knows? Take it all with a grain of salt. This is for fun, but who knows? It might be true. Let's talk release window first. According to the leaker, Spider-Man 2 is due out holiday 2021, possibly even by September of that year. So we're a little over a year away, a year and a half. They also said there's going to be a reveal this summer and that the game is completely single player. The leaker also said the new game will include the boroughs of Queens and Brooklyn, and it'll feature new gameplay mechanics to facilitate the low building traversal. All right, now here's a little spoilery. It's apparently set about 5 to 6 months after the first game, and the leaker wrote that Peter is still mourning Aunt May and constantly reminds himself of what happened. MJ and him live together, but she is away for the entire first act of the story. Oh God, I hope there's not another sneak section with her in it. Those were the worst. As for the plot, they said that Harry Osborn will become Venom, but it's a unique take on the character. Oscorp is apparently attempting to clone certain DNA to build a super soldier. It all goes wrong. New villains spawn from this. That makes sense. Carnage and Mysterio are also in the game. Eddie Brock is a major character in the game too, and Miles Morales is playable in sections. The leaker added, think of Arkham Knight systems where you could switch to the other Bat family characters in certain situation. Same thing here. Not very original, but it is fun. There's also a lot of changes when it comes to the signature feature of any Spider-Man game, web swinging. The leaker wrote that it's been overhauled, saying they've gone all out on the animation tech this time, so we won't see the same animation as much, more variety. Not only are they bringing the animations from PS4 over for the swing releases, they're adding many more, all in caps, many more. The leaker claims that Insomniac has like 2 animators devoted completely and solely to the web release animations throughout the entire development cycle. There's also a new web chain mechanic where you chain together web zips, so when you reach a point, he immediately zips to the next one, and so on. They also said there's going to be 3 different swing modes: realistic, arcade, and hybrid. Realistic, according to the leaker, very Spider-Man 2-esque in that it's just pure physics. Arcade as a little fake assistance. Hybrid, basically a combination of the two, essentially the swinging that we saw on the PS4. So there you go. Obviously, just a leak. Take it with a grain of salt. Honestly though, it's fun to have something other than the coronavirus to talk about. All right, moving on. Now I gotta talk about the coronavirus a little bit. It's no secret, it's here, it's not pretty. People are being quarantined, businesses are closing, everybody's on edge. But there is a silver lining to all this. You guys probably know what it is. People are playing a lot more video games. Verizon reports that since last week, when a lot of people are quarantined, US video game usage during peak hours, it's up 75%. Wedbush analyst Michael Pachter, the Pac-Man, told The Hollywood Reporter that people are staying indoors for sure, so by logical extension, they're engaged in indoor activities to a greater extent than before. That suggests greater gaming activity. Obviously, share prices for game publishers have held up relatively well in the market malaise, so it appears investors believe people are playing more. Totally makes sense when you think about it. Video games, they're a hobby that doesn't require any human contact. That's what's so great about them, but they're also perfect for situations like this when we're all holed up. Ben, have you been playing more?
I've been playing so much Doom and Animal Crossing.
Have you?
Yeah, already. Like I stood up all night just playing through it. It was great.
It's great. Yeah, I just started up Animal Crossing, and I feel like that's just what I'm going to play for the next 5 weeks.
Yeah, I'm like going through all of my backlog, which is like the light side of this, right?
Yep.
Like I've already gotten through Ori and the Will of the Wisps. I got through the first Ori game, grinding through all my Destiny stuff. Like, gaming, it's a good time to be a gamer.
Yeah, it is. Especially when it's like, there's no reason to not do it. Like, we don't. It's like, oh, you could be doing all this other stuff. No, you shouldn't. You should play video games. Oh, video streaming has also increased by 12%. Overall web traffic up nearly 20%. Social media usage was flat though, which means we're just checking Facebook the same amount that we did when we're at work. That's my theory. All right, Half-Life Alyx is set to release soon, but Valve boss Gabe Newell looking much further into the future. In an interview with IGN, Gabe talked a little bit about the upcoming game, saying that once people play Alyx, they'll realize why Valve decided to bring the franchise into virtual reality, but he also said he's looking into the future too and where technology is taking us. He talked a lot about brain-computer interfaces. He said, we're way closer to the Matrix than people realize. It's not gonna be the Matrix. The Matrix is a movie and it misses all the interesting technical subtleties and just how weird the post-brain-computer interface world is gonna be, but it's gonna have a huge impact on the kinds of experiences that we can create for people. As for how that might influence games, sounds pretty massive. He said, I think that it's an extinction level event for every entertainment form that's not thinking about this. If you're in the entertainment business and you're not thinking about this, you're going to be thinking about it a lot more in the future. Cool, I guess? You know what? Promise me it doesn't hurt when you jack me into the Steam Matrix or whatever it's gonna be called. It looks painful when they jack into the back of the head like that. Moving on, some PC players might be bummed to learn that Horizon Zero Dawn won't have a field of view slider when it comes to PC. On the Steam forums, Guerrilla Games community manager Ann Vanderzanden wrote that we will add several ways to customize your settings for Horizon Zero Dawn for PC. However, we feel that changing the FOV compromises the original Horizon Zero Dawn experience and visual style too much, so you will not be able to change this. Kind of a bummer. At any rate, the complete edition is due out on PC this summer. Untitled Goose Game was a big indie hit when it came out last year. Now it's being recognized as the best game of the year. At least that's according to the Game Developers Choice Awards, where it beat out Death Stranding, Control, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, and Outer Wilds for Game of the Year. That's a interesting choice. You might remember that it also won Game of the Year at the DICE Awards too. The Game Developers Choice Awards were supposed to take place at GDC 2020. Obviously that was canceled, so they streamed it this week. Other winners included The Great Disco Elysium for Best Debut and Best Narrative, Control for Best Audio, Best Technology, and Best Visual Art, Baba Is You for Best Design, and it also got an Innovation Award, and the Best VR AR game went to Vader Immortal. All right, time for a 5-second review. Some of these animals not practicing social distancing. This far away, actually further. All right, let's talk about the games coming out next week. We are starting off with a big one, Half-Life Alyx. It's almost here. You know it, you love it. It's Valve's VR return to the Half-Life series. It's the story of an impossible fight against a vicious alien race known as the Combine, set between the events of Half-Life and Half-Life 2. Playing as Alyx Vance, you are humanity's only chance for survival. The Combine's control of the planet since the Black Mesa incident has only strengthened as they corral the remaining population in cities. Among them are some of Earth's greatest scientists, you and your father, Dr. Eli Vance. As founders of a fledgling resistance, you've continued your clandestine scientific activity, performing critical research and building invaluable tools for the few humans brave enough to defy the Combine. Every day you learn more about your enemy, and every day you work toward finding a weakness. Valve's return to the Half-Life universe that started it all was built from the ground up for virtual reality. You guys know this. VR was built to enable the gameplay that sits at the heart of Half-Life. Immerse yourself in deep environmental interactions, puzzle solving, world exploration, and visceral combat. Lean to aim around a broken wall and under a barnacle to make an impossible shot. Rummage through shelves to find a healing syringe and some shotgun shells. Manipulate tools to hack alien interfaces. Toss a bottle through a window to distract an enemy. Rip a head crab off your face and throw it out the window. It is coming out to VR, most of the big platforms, March 23rd. In Moons of Madness, you play as Shane Newhart, engineer on a research facility built by the Orochi Group on Mars. After awakening from a disconcerting dreams, you go about your daily routines, mostly trying to correct all the many things that tend to go awry on a base 140 million miles away from the nearest convenience stores. As your day progresses, however, several things start to go wrong, and your dream starts to seem more and more like a premonition of the nightmare that lies ahead. you're going to have to figure out what's going on as you delve deeper and deeper into a world of horror, conspiracy, betrayal, and delusion. But most importantly, you'll have to figure out a way to survive. It comes to PS4, Xbox One, March 24th. Grab your team and tear it up in Bleeding Edge, an electrifying online brawler where every fighter comes mechanically enhanced for mayhem. Choose your fighter from a diverse cast of colorful characters from the edges of society. Burn rubber as the bold and beautiful Buttercup with her detachable saw blade arms. Wreak havoc as black metal rocker Nidhogger with his electrifying guitar solos. Or slash up the streets as Damon, New York's most wanted assassin. Use your environment to your advantage with deadly arena hazards and gain the upper hand in moments of chaos. Yank opponents into a high voltage electric fence with Buttercup's saw blade. Charge enemy aggressors into the path of an oncoming train with Makutu's shoulder barge. Trap careless enemies with Mav's magical cage and light a raging fire beneath their very feet. Power up your fighter's weapons and abilities from a vast arsenal of cybernetic parts, all earnable through gameplay. Customize your hoverboard mounts to ride with style across the vibrant cyberpunk areas of Bleeding Edge. It comes to PC and Xbox One March 24th. Next up, Assemble with Care. From the studio that brought you Monument Valley comes a story about taking things apart and putting ourselves back together. When Maria, a globe-trotting antique restorer, arrives in the sun-soaked town of Bellariva, she has no idea just how broken it will turn out to be. She wants nothing more than to help the town's inhabitants to save their most beloved possessions. But when it's their personal lives that are starting to fracture, she'll need to find a way to hold them together, one spare screw at a time. Ooh, Maria's naughty. Explore the objects through Maria's eyes and find a way to restore them. Meet the townsfolk of Bellariva, come to love their quirks and help them reconnect. Rediscover the defining objects of decades past to the tune of the original soundtrack, inspired by the sounds of the 80s. I like the 80s. Enjoy gameplay rendered in a beautiful impressionistic style alongside a completely hand-illustrated story. Comes to PC March 26th. Down the Rabbit Hole is a VR adventure that serves as a prequel to Lewis Carroll's classic Alice in Wonderland tale. You will assume the role of a girl who has accidentally wandered into Wonderland prior to Alice's arrival and must find her way home. But which way? You control the girl's fate by plotting her journey through an immersive 3D comic book world that wraps around you. Through the game's many twists and turns, you'll find yourself exploring the strangest corners of Wonderland, solving puzzles, uncovering secrets, and making choices that will help tell the story that you are experiencing. It comes to Oculus, PSVR, Steam VR, March 26th. In Saints Row re-elected, you are the President of the United States of America and you must save everyone on Earth. The boss of the Saints has been elected to the presidency, but the Saints are just getting started. After a catastrophic alien invasion of Earth led by the evil overlord Zinyak, the Saints have been transported to a bizarro steel port simulation. With homies new and old at their side and an arsenal of superpowers and strange weapons, they must fight to free humanity from alien granddaddy Zinyak's mental grasp. The Saints have gone from the crack house to the penthouse to the White House, but now it's up to you to free the world from Zinyak, saving the world in the wildest open world game ever. It comes to the Switch for the first time, March 27th. Dirt Rally 2.0 Game of the Year Edition dares you to carve your way through a selection of iconic rally locations from across the globe in the most powerful off-road vehicles ever made, knowing that the smallest mistake could end your stage. The Game of the Year Edition has over 80 cars and 26 locations to take on the world with. It comes to PC, PS4, and Xbox One, March 27th.
Lost Words.
Beyond the Page is a narrative-driven, atmospheric puzzler set inside the pages of a young girl's diary. Following an immersive story by renowned games writer Rihanna Pratchett, players guide an aspiring author through the wondrous fantasy world of Astoria, where words wield immense power. In
Lost Words.
Beyond the Page, players interact with the words themselves to solve challenging puzzles and unique platforming segments to progress through an evolving landscape. Winner of over a dozen game awards and accolades, players will leap through the diary pages to uncover an emotional tale of loss and personal growth that will test the protagonist Izzy as she embarks on this highly decorated, groundbreaking adventure. It comes to Stadia. There you go, Stadia, March 27th. And finally, One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 is the latest evolution of Pirate Warriors action. Based on the concept of experiencing a real One Piece battlefield, Buildings will come crashing down during the action, and attacks will throw up smoke and dust, placing you in the thick of the One Piece world. Injecting fresh elements that couldn't be achieved in previous entries, it's now realized an even more thrilling brand of Pirate Warriors action. It comes to PC, PS4, Xbox One, and the Switch March 27th. All right, that's all the news we've got for you this week. Hope you guys are safe. Hope you guys are doing well. We'll see you soon. Bye.
After years and years and years, we can say years like 13 times, I guess. Yeah, we finally got a new sneak peek at a new Half-Life game just yesterday.
Yeah, the game is called Half-Life Alyx, and as Valve describes it, it's set between the events of Half-Life and Half-Life 2. In the game, Alyx Vance and her father Eli mount an early resistance to the Combine's brutal occupation of Earth.
Valve says the game will be released in March